right, let's get to the big story. The big story this morning, we focus our attention on an interesting institution. It's one of the three arms of government, and many of you love to hate this institution, especially in the past couple of days. There's been a lot that's happening. But anyway, it's good to also cut this institution some slack and hear from them. So there's going to be a Parliament week, and that's going to be from the 21st to the 25th. Of this very month. That's happening next week, and within this week, as you will discover, lots of things happen. Parliament is saying, look, we want to get Parliament closer to you. I know many of you get to social media and make noise and so on, and so they're saying, okay, we want to get close to you. Tell us what's happening and several other issues, as you will be discovering. My guest is Peter Odeke. Peter is a Senior Public Affairs Officer of Parliament. Good morning.
Good morning, John.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm well. A long time ago, you used to be in a studio like this one, of course not this particular one, and you used to anchor news. I know some people do not know. You know, many of our people are very young.
I'm actually surprised that you'd remember, because that was many years ago. I
used to watch you on TV reading news. So that can mean two things. That one, you're either very old.
I will not dispute that.
If you're saying that's a long time ago. But now, me, I'm saying I'm still young, I'm still even search for you, you're a married man. So now if you're old, I used to watch you on TV, are you saying I'm also very old?
I think you're getting there.
Oh my goodness.
You'll catch up.
So anyway, why did you run away from the media?
No, I would not say I ran away from the media. The media has always been a part of my life.
Because anyway, you're doing media work.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm in the background now.
Good for you. Don't you miss TV?
I do.
Do you miss TV?
Once you've been in TV, you just get to appreciate it. I miss it.
You do?
Yeah.
Should get back. Well, he's done other things. He's a big-time actor. I'm with a celeb this morning. Queen of Kat. I know we're not talking about this, but it's okay to break the ice. Are you featured in Queen of Katwe?
Yes.
How did that happen for you?
That happened in my private time. I need to emphasize that, because that was not official time.
Of course.
And it was something really exciting. An opportunity came up for actors in Uganda to participate in this Hollywood blockbuster. And I jumped on board. I went for the auditions. I was successful. And I became part of the movie. The rest is history, as they say.
You're a jack of all trades. So you joined Parliament. You've been in Parliament for quite a bit of time.
Yes, over 10 years now.
Over 10 years now. Yes. And you're Senior Public Affairs Officer. What's it like, pretty much speaking, for Parliament, an institution such as Parliament? I wanted to have a post put up on our social media accounts, something related to this, but I kind of envisaged, like, you know, is normally the case. When something about Parliament, people will go there and abuse. And some of our people, sanity is thrown out the window. So I said, no, I'll spare you that. And not do so. But as you can imagine, the image of Parliament out there is, in all honesty, not a very good one. In a couple of sections.
It's a mixed image.
There
are many people who appreciate, of course, what happens in Parliament, and there are many who don't understand enough about what goes on in Parliament. And that's actually one of the reasons why we have this Parliament Week. It allows the public to actually come in and form accountability for themselves, knowing exactly what happens in each of the departments, in the different areas, to know what the building of Parliament is like, and also just appreciate that the third arm of government is there for them and not for itself.
So why do you think those that lambast it do? But there might not even be very many, but they're the very vocal ones. They will take over social media, and you imagine, my goodness, there is a problem here.
Well, it's a lack of understanding. Very often we'll find that as we open Parliament to the people, and people actually come and understand what happens at Parliament, they get a really intrinsic appreciation of what goes on there, and also the different challenges that one would actually expect there. Especially when you think that an institution like Parliament has got 451 individual representatives of the people, each one speaking for their people. So if it was a public relations affair, can you think how many public relations persons those are? Quite a number.
Must be a tall order. Look, you see, one of the reasons actually MPs were pushing their time from 5 to 7 years, they were saying, look, we spent the first 3 years trying to understand these things, you know. I told some of my MP friends, some of my friends, even though we argue and disagree on many things, I said, this is absolute nonsense. If I'm going to pay you for 3 years, for you trying to learn as opposed to working, but that's a story for another day. Really, what I wanted to ask is,
yes,
what do these MPs get taken through when they get to Parliament? Because truth is, and I would imagine it makes people's jobs very hard, but anyway, it's what you're hired to do, in a way, that these guys get to understand what their role is. I spoke to an MP who I asked what the roles of an MP are, and he could only tell me 2. And yet the cardinal ones are about 4. I got worried, and I imagine there are several others that way.
Well, that is true. There are many people who come to Parliament unsure of what their actual role is. But once they get there, we take them through an entire orientation process. And this allows for them to appreciate the actual roles of a member of Parliament. There are 4 cardinal roles. And everything else that people might think of as jobs of members of Parliament might actually not fall within those 4 cardinal roles. And those are pretty clear. The main role is to make laws. That is a key one. The other one is to do with budget allocation, what we'd call appropriation. The third one is representation, which everybody seems to remember. And then there's oversight. And everything else falls closely around that. Yes.
So do these MPs get taken through that? Because at the end of the day, when they don't know that, who suffers? It is me, because I expect them to execute those 4 cardinal roles. But if an MP knows only 2, and they know that my role is perhaps to build boreholes and so on, which are good things. And I would like to think, even you who is not an MP, in our small ways, we do certain things. Yeah? So it's an okay thing to do. But many MPs think that is their role, and that's problematic, because now they end up veering off the right track as it should be. So is
I would want to disagree with you, to disagree with you, Joel. I think the members of Parliament know what their roles are. It is the public that might not appreciate or know exactly what their limits are.
So whose problem is that, Peter?
It's a society problem. Because as an institution of Parliament, we actually keep going out. And we have had a campaign for more than 2 or 3 years trying to explain to people what the roles of a member of Parliament are. And in this, we also have to elucidate that there are certain things that members of Parliament might be doing, but those are not their roles. For instance, making roads, bridges, churches, paying for funerals and weddings, all kinds of things. Those are not part of the roles of members of Parliament. So it is our society that has other issues and want to ensure that whatever way they can get something out of members of Parliament, they will use that avenue. Yeah.
So my question then is there some kind of orientation that these MPs are taken through? Because, you know, truth is, when you're taking on a job, especially as a first-timer, you need to get a grip of the nuts and bolts, if you like, of what this job is about. Then you can get to do your job. So is there any such thing?
Yes, we have got an extensive orientation for members of Parliament. It is supported, of course, by the Parliamentary Commission and also donor agencies. So we ensure that members of Parliament get to understand the intricacies of being a member of Parliament. And it's a challenge because many of them come to Parliament thinking it's only about representation. And then they realize that they're going to be passing budgets and approving loans and going through various reports. So there is an extensive orientation that takes place.
So then, you are having Parliament Week. This is going to be the second time?
Yes.
That is happening?
This is the second annual Parliament Week that we're hosting. And it's going to be from Sunday, the 21st, until Thursday, the 25th.
So what's it about?
Month. Parliament Week is really about opening Parliament to the public and allowing for the public to come in and appreciate what Parliament has to offer them. We understand, we recognize that many people are also afraid of the institution of Parliament. They see all the security around the entrances and they think it's a no-go zone. But Parliament is for the people. And part of our campaign over the last few years has been bridging the gap between Parliament and the people. This year our theme is on Parliament, the voice of the people. So we'd like for the public to come and see how parliamentarians and Parliament as an institution actually voices their concerns, voices their issues.
And they won't be arrested. I'm told whenever people try to access Parliament, some of them don't get allowed to. So who can come?
No, Parliament during this week is as open as it will ever be. Of course, we have got security regulations that everybody has to go through to access the building, but it's going to be as open as possible. So it's open to every single Ugandan who's interested, anybody who is in the country. We welcome the public, we welcome students, people from all walks of life.
So if I want to come and demonstrate peacefully, you know, even as a single individual, let's say against my MP, maybe this particular MP, there's things, you know, he's probably never in Parliament, and yet he signs and gets money, so I never see that MP. I don't see him in committees, I don't see him in plenary or her, and so I feel that MP is not representing me well. So I come with a placard and say, Honorable Joel Senyonyi, style up, signed, your constituent, and I come and I stand with my placard there, will I be safe?
Well, we're making it even better this year because you will have an opportunity to actually come and sit down and question your member of parliament. We have got one of the sessions where members of parliament receive questions and interface with their constituents or any other person from the public that would be interested in questioning a member of parliament. So we call it Meet Your MP. And that's going to be running all through the week from Monday until Thursday. And that's just one of the activities to ensure that you don't have any need to come with any placards, but you come with appreciation of Parliament.
How do you manage that? Because you're saying anybody can come. There's what? Close to 40 million Ugandans? So how are you managing that? And many might say, finally I have a chance to meet this my MP. He or she never returns to the constituency, he's always avoiding us. Now they've invited me, so let me come. And so you get to have this place flooded. How are you managing that?
Well, Parliament is a large place. And Parliament is actually for all Ugandans. So all of those who would be able to find the time should be able to come between 8 and 5 on each of the days. Well, starting really on Sunday all through until Thursday. So we anticipate that we shall have huge numbers, but we welcome them. And we have designed each day in such a way that anybody who comes on any particular day would have variety or be able to participate in a different activity within Parliament.
All right, I was speaking to your colleague, Helen Kawes, and she told me some other exciting activities that you folks are going to be doing this week. Tell me about those.
Well, we're starting on Sunday. On Sunday, we've got a charity walk. The proceeds of this charity walk will go towards the construction of a multi-purpose recreational center, educational center for persons with albinism. It's a campaign that we started last year, and it's ongoing. On Monday, we shall have an ecumenical service, which is a multi-denominational service, Thanksgiving, as well as preparing for the week. We shall also be launching a series of activities. For instance, we shall have a corporate social responsibility activity. We intend to plant trees in Uganda. The effects of desertification are really intense. So we have partnered with the National Forestry Authority, and we shall be planting at least 5,000 trees in the Moroto area, in the Mount Moroto Forest Reserve. That is a start, and it's something that we intend to continue through the year. We shall have the Meet Your Member of Parliament session, like I mentioned. Then we shall have the usual tours. Many people do not know the institution, the building of Parliament. Many are afraid of the precincts of Parliament. So we'd like for them to actually come and see what the chamber looks like and go through our galleries, photo galleries, and see the history that we have in that building. Besides that, we shall have other exhibitions. We have departmental exhibitions, first of all. Every department is supposed to showcase what they do. We have got about 19 departments, and each one of them will have activities showcasing exactly what they do. And that's one of the areas the public has not known about Parliament. They think Parliament is only about members of Parliament, but we have got departments that aid these members of Parliament. We're also going to expand this exhibition to feature banks. Banks will be able to come in and display their wares and take you through some of the services that they offer persons. And real estate dealers or agents actually will also be coming to join us in this exhibition. And then we shall have a complete photo exhibition about the roles of a member of Parliament, especially on the times that they go around during their committee visits or when they sit in plenary. This will aid the public actually understand Parliament better through pictures.
I understand that there's also going to be a parliament session of sorts. It's going to be made up of ordinary folks. They will elect their own speaker, leader of opposition, and that kind of thing. Tell me about that.
That is going to be the climax, and that's what we call the public parliament. It's going to be on a first-come, first-served basis on the Thursday, and we shall encourage any interested person in the public, anybody who has had aspirations of being a member of Parliament or knowing how parliamentarians operate, to actually come. We shall give them a topic. This year it's going to be about budget allocation and its impact on the public service delivery. So they shall debate just like members of Parliament and come up with a resolution that will be shared with government. So that is just one of the public activities. The other that we have is a civil society workshop that is going to be on Tuesday. And it's a high-end civil society workshop. Last year, we had quite a lot of interest that was generated. This year, our debate is going to be the voice of the people, a reflection on the 10th Parliament of Uganda. So this is going to be an opportunity to actually delve into what actually has taken place in the last 2 years of the 10th Parliament of Uganda.
Peter, this is a good initiative, and I speak as a citizen, that we get to have a week where people can get to jail with Parliament and get to have a good understanding, a fine understanding of what happens therein, interact with the institution, with their MPs, give some feedback. But then what? After this 1 week, is there some kind of continuity? You see, and this is something I see, you know, across the country, that many times we focus on certain things when a particular day or week does come. And after that, you know, we all dissipate. We get back to default setting, and then we remember that time when we're celebrating that day again the next year and that kind of thing. Yes. But in between there, not so much happens. So what's you guys' plan for continuity? Because some of these things are good, and I would like to see them go beyond just a week.
I agree with you. All the activities that we shall be showcasing in this Parliament Week are activities that are always ongoing. For instance, we have got tours of Parliament that take place from January to December. It's mostly students or schools that benefit from these tours, but they're open to the public. Sessions of Parliament are open to the public. Anybody who's interested and meets the simple security regulations can always come in.
What are those security regulations?
Well, they've got to have an identity card. They've got to undergo a security search, and then they can access Parliament. It's very simple. As simple as that. And that's the standard in most places in Uganda right now. So we just want to be able to identify that you are a citizen or somebody with good intent, and we allow you to come into our chamber and watch what happens in Parliament.
So you're saying all the MPs are going to be present, because truth is we never see those MPs present. Except when there's controversial things happening, like the age limit bill. Well, that's when that place gets full and the MPs don't have enough seats. They have to sit on each other's laps and so on. But other times, I get disturbed. You know, I see plenary, on the NRM side, there's about 10. Opposition, there's about 3 or 5. And the speaker, they ring the bell, where are you people? And, you know, and then we keep thinking, where are these guys we pay to work for us?
I think this is...
Many times I feel cheated. I don't know if you feel cheated as a taxpayer. Because, you see, besides working for Parliament to pay taxes, the laws passed therein affect you. I'll tell you, many times as a citizen, I'm thinking, no, these guys should not be paid for work they are not doing.
No, I don't feel cheated because I know what happens within Parliament. What the public might not see is that the bulk of the work of Parliament is not actually in the plenary, what they see on TV, but in the committees.
And the Speaker used to complain about committees too, that people are not in the committees, reports have dragged on, so...
Well, reports dragging on might be one thing. Maybe they have, they could have different reasons. I will not speak for the different committees. However, committees work Monday to Thursday or Monday to Friday, depending on how they schedule their work. And these committees interface with the public. A lot of the bulk of Parliament work actually takes place in the committees. So it is mostly the reports that they'll bring to the plenary. And you also appreciate that the Chamber of Parliament is just too small. If all the members of Parliament came at any one go, they will not be able to sit.
So that's the excuse they use, eh? But then at the end of the day, you're seeing only 20 the other side and 10. So really, but again, one would ask, whose problem is it? Because those MPs have decided that we are going to make every village in this country a district. So that comes with a constituency, a district woman MP, maybe 2 or 3 constituencies, and that kind of thing.
No, I think that is beyond Parliament. That draws
the ones who pass those districts, aren't they?
Well, passing is one thing, but the proposals come from the public, they come from the executive, they come from society.
And Parliament's head is on the chopping block of you must say yes, otherwise we cut it off.
Well, I think you'd like to address that to the Speaker.
Anyway, now that you're here, we can, you know, talk a bit about a few other things. Yes. There's people that sometimes ask me about that mess in Parliament, which is the symbol of authority.
Yes.
And they'll say this thing here, we see it being very guarded many times when there's a tempest in Parliament. Parliament cannot sit without it. What's that thing about? Sometimes I give them answers. I don't know if I tell them the right things, but Talk to us about that thing.
Well, the mace is the symbol, yes, of the authority of Parliament, the authority of the Speaker of Parliament. It has got to be present before any session of Parliament. If the mace was to go missing, there would be no session. So it's the symbolism that has been carried through for several years that we maintain in the mace. So even if Parliament was to sit in a different location outside the precincts, the ordinary precincts of the building of Parliament.
Like it does at Serena here.
At Serena, exactly.
For the budget and so on.
Yes. There's got to be a proclamation made, and the mace has got to be moved from Parliament to Serena.
So what happens if a member, because many times they see it being protected from members.
Well, let me put it like this. A lot of the security around Parliament or around the mace is to ensure that it is safe. And it is safe. Yeah. So it should never go missing. Interesting.
And then the dress code of the speaker, the hood, you know, there are some folks who are telling me, but these hoods here, even for the judges, some feel it's antiquated, it's very colonialistic because we adopted it from the Britons. Sometimes the speaker will wear it, other times, I don't know, for one reason or another, she will not wear it, and she'll just, you know, have that attire. Does that have any attachment to whether or not Parliament is in session, that if the speaker is not in a certain attire, then that is not a Parliament session or that kind of thing?
Well, for now, that is part of the garb of the speaker, the gowns and the wig, and it's called robbing of the speaker. And it is something, yes, that we adopted or inherited from colonial times. There are some countries that have since phased these out, but we still have them. And we still respect them until such a time when we think we can do without them. The times that you might see the speaker without the wig, that could just be one of the processes of Parliament. For instance, when they go into the committee of the whole House, and that's quite technical. At that point, the speaker moves from the main chair and sits at the clerk's table, and the speaker is then addressed as Mr. or Madam Chairperson. So at that point, they normally remove the wig, and they're chairing a session of Parliament, just like any other committee session. Yeah.
Interesting. So there's lots of things to learn about Parliament. Hopefully people can come and learn. Hopefully you guys can do this more often, besides the 1 week, so that, you know, we can get to see a jailing, such that you're saying Parliament coming to the people. Did you say that's the theme?
No, the theme is Parliament, the voice of the people.
The voice of the people.
Yes.
Good stuff. I'm sure we'll engage with you people some more as the dates draw near, but it's good that we get to break the ice and people loosen up. Many are angry, but it's okay for them to come and ask questions. And ask questions because you see, at the end of the day, these are your MPs, whether you like it or not. The work that they do does affect you, whether you like it or not. So let's see how we touch base with them. Peter Odeke, it's been a pleasure having you here.
Pleasure was mine. Thank you so much.
All right. Let's take a quick break now. Coming up is Everyday Life.
You're watching Morning at